Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be reviewing Amphibia Season 3 Episode 2B, the second half, called Turning Point. And this one doesn't have a clip, and first off I just want to say I really think Turning Point needed to be a double episode. Hop to drop, I gave it I gave it a 7.5. C plus is so sent by that it was a good episode, but this one has Sasha in it, and Sasha, spoilers. I'm going to spoil the territory because we weren't gonna talk about the episode. Of course, there's gonna be spoilers. That should already be implied, but in case you didn't know, but Sasha goes through development in this episode, and I really think it should have been a double episode. At least to me. So that's like my first first acts for the episode, where the segment, because I'm like, I really think this should have been double episode, and a lot of other people actually agree with me on this, the internet and stuff like that. But without further ado, let's get on with the episode. First things first. We actually go to a couple days ago. It was like 2 days or a couple days ago, where we had to see the castle flying. Oh, we're back at Newtopia. And basically what happened, we see Sasha's telling Anne, Grime and I will hold them to just go. And we see Grime and Sasha fighting off King Andres. Grime's got Barrel's warhammer. Sasha has his sword. King Andres uses his tail to like throw Sasha, and then boom, she hits against the wall. And then we see through Sasha's point of view, King Andres' fire sword killing Marcy, and Sasha's like, Marcy. Even Grime's shocked. Marcy collapses, and we hear a poof, and then Grime's like, not Grime, Andres is like, no. Marcy managed to open the portal, but no matter. He snaps his fingers to get the evil Phobos by his side. I still have the box, so the box is here, and we kind of already saw that in the first episode, where King Andres sent the new version of Frobo to go after Anne and get the Cynthia Coven book. So we already knew King Andres had the box, but now we had to see him close it, because we saw smoke coming out of it. So that's actually pretty cool. And he's like, oh, we actually saw Lady Olivia and General Yunan trying to walk away, holding hands. And then King Andres is like, how about you two? Are you with me? And then out of fear, oh yeah, we're definitely with you. Okay, good. And Sasha hears this, but not Anne. See, this is why I was like, okay, it kind of makes sense why Sasha is mourning about Marcy's death, because Sasha hears this. King Andres tells Lady Olivia and General Yunan, bring Marcy to a rejuvenation chamber. She's fading fast. As in, she's not dead yet. But if we don't put her in the chamber fast, she will die. Anne didn't hear this. So again, I asked this. What is dead to Anne? Because apparently getting stabbed through the chest, eyes rolling the back of your head, and collapsing isn't dead enough for her. But who knows? So it makes sense for Sasha to know that Marcy isn't dead, because she heard about the rejuvenation chamber, so that makes sense. But whatever. Grimes kind of tells Sasha, I'm really sorry about your friend, but we gotta go. We can't really do anything for her now. And then we see the evil Phobos corner Sasha and Grime, and Sasha's like, what's the command, Captain? What are we gonna do next? And Grime's like, I think I had to throw you out the window. Sasha's like, the window? She just throws her off with her tongue, and that's why Grime's kind of happy, because we made her escape. Okay, cool. We saw some Phobos shooting at them, and then Grime's like, a flawless escape. And then Sasha's like, did you have a plan to survive the jump? And then Joe Sparrow catches him, and then he's like, well, that's lucky. Really, Grime? I don't know. You're a commander. I think you could came up with a better plan. But he's like, oh, excellent work, George Sparrow. And Joe gives him a look. That's not his name. And Marcy says his name. You were there, so come on, show respect. And then we actually see some of the toads that were, I think, part of Bufo's army, I think. I could be wrong, getting captured by the evil Frobos, and he's like, our armies are being captured. And then Sasha's like, well, where are we supposed to hide out? Your tower? Andres will expect that. He's like, well, let's go somewhere you wouldn't expect. They're going back to Wartwood. Okay, cool. And then he's like, we're asking Sasha and Grime show up with Joe, and he's like, oh, what's going on? And Felicia's like, where's Anne? And I love Ivy. Ivy's like, where's Sprague? And Sasha's like, what are we gonna tell them? And Grime's like, not the truth. Everyone, King Andres has turned evil, and he's got the music box and with unmatchable types of power. I'm like, and he's like, oh, the planters are not here, and they asked us to protect you, basically. Okay, that's a lie. And then Sasha's like, that's crazy. We're just gonna name drop Anne and they're just gonna believe us. And I love it. All the town loves Anne. Somebody's like, oh, classic Anne, always looking out for the townspeople, because they know Sasha and Grime, they're mean, but they're tough. They can protect the town, basically. And so, and I love Mary Tulsa's like shaking Sasha's hand. Oh, it's really good that Anne put good hands for our safety. Everyone's okay. Anne's best friend is protecting us. And obviously Sasha feels like crud because that's not true. They're on, I would say, on the same side of fighting. They're not fighting against each other. They're fighting with each other. Kind of like, even in True Colors, they nodded at each other. We're fighting together for the time being. But that doesn't mean that they're friends. Because, yeah, they have a lot to talk about. And try to kill Sasha on the bridge on Utopia. Sasha, betrayed Anne again. So, there's a lot of bad blood there. And basically, everyone's, it's so great. And, then Grime puts Barrel's Warhammer in this, like, umbrella stand at the planter house. He's like, okay, I'm sending a message to Beatrix to get out of this cruddy town. And Sasha's kind of, look at Sasha's face. I wish I can show you a clip, but I don't have one available. But she kind of has like a foot like halfway in the doorway, and she kind of scoots it back. And then Grime's like, are you going to come in or just act weird all day? She's like, I'm just going to go into the barn. Grime's like, okay. And he just crushes Hot Pop's bed. Oh my goodness. Like, Grime got his vegetable book off of Hot Pop's night desk, opens it up. He's like, now that's a big potato. I'm not going to go into detail of what that could mean, but if you know what that means, okay. If you don't worry about it. But we have Sasha kind of like, oh, hey, a big snail. And then we got Michelangelo. Oh, a tiny snail. Oh, don't mind me. I'm just going to sit in the barn with the rest of the trash and is in like the hay pile. Someone like me just deserves that, and just puts the hay on top of her face. Like, oh my goodness, that's so dangerous, but Sasha's suppressed. And we have, I love this. Sasha is cuddling with Michelangelo. I love it. Because Grime like opens the door. Hey, breakfast, Sasha. I love it. Grime's like an uncle / father figure for Sasha. And this is interesting. Sasha's like, oh, who is it? Well, what time is it? Of course this is my natural hair color. Either two things. One, this isn't her natural hair color. Or two, everyone assumes that she isn't a blonde, like naturally. Which is kind of interesting, I guess, either way. I wonder if we're going to get into detail about that, because I'm like, if this is true, that she isn't a natural blonde, if she's a natural brunette, okay, fine. If she's the natural black jet type of hair, fine. I want her to be a redhead, because we already have a brunette. We already have Marcy with black hair, which isn't a bad thing if Sasha is secretly a brunette or has jet black hair. It isn't bad. We already have that. And I would just love it if Sasha would turn back the redhead, like get out the blonde dye. And I would just love for Sprig and Ivy to take out their hats, Sasha to turn back the redhead, and they take a photo of like the new best friend photo of the three redheads. Instead of saying best BFFs, it says the three redheads. I don't know. So make fan art out of it. I love it. Because I just think that would be just adorable. Sasha just hating frogs. Sprig and Ivy just hating Sasha. And it would just be kind of, not really like a full circle, but kind of like a redemption. And kind of like saying, I'm sorry in a way. Kind of reconciling in a way. I don't know. this is just what I want. But if Sasha is just a blonde and people just assume that she's not a blonde, okay, fine. It's kind of weird, but okay. And Grimes like, oh hey, I got you some breakfast. It's like a worms and waffle type of thing with strawberry sauce. It's very disgusting. And he's like, oh, I got a and he's like, and oh, Grime, I don't know. I kind of don't want to do the war anymore. The rebellion. He's like, I know you feel bad in inadvertently helping King Andres get the music box. He eats like the waffles because Sasha didn't want them. Basically, she actually said, I'm not hungry. But you gotta get a hold of yourself. And Mrs. Croker is like, oh, hey, the kind of like a yelp. And the Grime with Bear's Warhammer, Sasha Doolittle, he's like, ah! And see Croker's just there. Oh, I love the enthusiasm. I got brought you a pie. And oh, I just love it that you two are protecting the town. And Sasha's just like, ooh, type of face. And she's like, oh, Archie. Because she's talking to her pet spider. Archie, I didn't know about those two, but they're good eggs. And and Grimes just walks away and then Wally goes up to Sasha. Oh, I'm Anne's friend too, and she's like, "That's nice." He's like, "Oh, she told me all times a lesson. So being true to yourself, being honest, always telling the truth." Oh, it just eats up on Sasha. I even wrote a song about it. He's playing the accordion. She's like, "Oh, I gotta go, protecting the town for Anne." Oh, I swear, if I see one more country bumpkin, and Maddie's like, "Loaf of bread." Excuse me. And she's like, no, get away from me. And then I love Maddie. She's like, trying to get away from the carbs. I get it. She does another magic bomb and poof, she disappears. And we see Sasha kind of like kind of breathing to herself. And then Gwen's like, oh, Sasha, I got a message from Beatrix. And it's like bad delivery. I love it. And the bat looks cute. And she's like, and I love in the note, it says, low bro, we got army, fortifications, weapons, come with us. I love it. She's like, oh, what are we gonna do? Go back to the evil people and, and hurt all the people we love? And Grime's like, yeesh, what's your problem? And then, Grime gives like a little strawberry to the bat. Oh, we want a little strawberry? I love Grime. Just be on the right side, please. And then, I forgot something. When Grime and Sasha were on Joe Sparrow, I forgot. King Andres said to, so many loose ends, so little time. He actually puts back on his crown because remember when and sucker punched him in true colors. He lost his crown. He got it back on. Oh, he talked to one of the Frobos, the evil ones. Follow them because he's like so many loose ends, so little time. So this Frobo finally caught up with them. Scanning the Planter family houses. Oh, like, they're not there. And it's like, oh, it must have followed us. And Sasha's like, well, I can't let it scan the town. And then Grant's like, go for the legs. And then whoosh, the legs are cut off. But he's like, zzz, and Grime's got Barrow's Warhammer with the magenta energy for the Calamity Stone. And boom. But before that, it says, I'm calling for help. Basically, backup. And Grime's like, this thing was calling for help. We gotta get out of here. Wartwood is done. And then Sasha's like, we can't just leave these not useless, but these weak little frogs to defend for themselves. And Grime's like, I'm sorry, Sasha, but we gotta do things for the common war because that's just how it is. He's just war driven. You do things by the book, and that's just how it is. And Grime's just like that, and I understand that. It's not right, but I understand it. And then Sasha's like, no, Grime. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm done with the lies. I'm done with the... Oh, even Sasha's like, what about the nice lady? The old lady who gave us the pie. And she's like, to be honest, Sasha, that pie was soggy. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I kind of would not abandon the frogs, but I would kind of agree with Grime. Because, like, fresh baked pie is perfection. I love it. But if you get the crust wrong, it can end up terrible. But, enough about that. And then Sasha's like, no, enough the lies, the manipulation, the teasing. And the Grant's like, what do you mean? You love lies, deception, manipulation's like your thing. Since when have you cared? And Sasha's like, since I learned the consequences, I had to face them. And Grime has kind of like the wrong mindset, but he does have a point, which I kind of like it because he's kind of like on Sasha's side, but he does not like the frogs, and it's kind of interesting. Grime's like, Lieutenant, listen to me. Your mind is not thinking straight. You obviously have a lot going on. This is an order. I want you to go into the house, face what burdens you, and then when you're ready, join me. And he said, please, because one, he cares about her, and two, she's a good soldier, and he wants her by her side. And I'm like, obviously, as what Sasha says in Wartwood, I'm like, did Grime leave? Like, oh no! But hold on, we're not there. Sasha watches Grime leave, and Sasha goes into the house, and she goes inside Anne's basement, and this is where she finds the journal back in the trailer. And obviously, her boot, it got scuff marks all over the journal. And she opens it, and there's like picture of Anne, Marcy, and Sasha in the bug uniforms, and Grimes like playing the harp, which looks really cool. It's not the best drawing, but it's okay. And Sasha's reading the journal. Tomorrow we're going to Utopia to give King Andreas the music box so we can go home. I can't believe after all these months I'll be able to go home. I'm so glad I'm reunited with my best friends again. I'm so glad I trusted Sasha again. Even after all the fighting, even after all we've been through, I knew we would work it out in the end. And we just see tears falling onto the journal and onto the page. Sasha's just crying, and she's like, "And I am so sorry what I've done to you. I shouldn't have done a better job of not being into control again. And I did it to you and again. And where did it get me?" And she actually says a line I'm kind of interested in. She's like, "Oh, I actually love where she's like, that ends today," and we see the shadow, the eyes go up instead down. It's kind of like the end of the discussion, but it's like in reverse, which people point out. So that's pretty cool. But she's like, "I want to be someone that I want to be someone that you would want. Like I want to someone that deserves you." Basically, I'm kind of thinking, is that implying that Sasha likes Anne? It might, but again, I have like the 2 episode rule. If it's shown in 2 episodes, then I kind of it gives me feeling that yeah, this person has a crush on this person, basically. But but despite if Sasha has feelings for Anne or not, it's good that Sasha wants to, take care of Anne and like wants to be there for her. That's the most important thing. But basically, she's like, "I know what I had to do," and she calls everyone from Wartwood at the edge of town. I got like at the entrance where the sign is. She's like, "Everyone, I have to tell you the truth. There is a killer robot army on its way to Wartwood." What's the? Sadie Coker's like, what's robot? Because he never really explained what Frobo was to the townspeople, really. Just that it was like a creature. So it kind of makes sense. And she's like, "I've been lying to you. I'm no protector. I'm a fraud. Because Anne's been zapped to another world, and I have no idea where she is. And she doesn't even know why I'm here." And they're like, "Oh," and he's like, "But I'm gonna make things right now with my last breath." And she went in the trailer where she was making that declaration. She drew her like sword. This is what she said: "With my last breath, I'm gonna defend this town." Okay, cool. I'm like, did Grime leave? And we see this giant frog thing show up. What the heck? And she's like, "Oh, okay, one against one." And then this is the actual thing with frogs where if on his back and could lay these eggs and frogs will actually come out of it. It's really gross and weird. And it's like, oh my goodness, this is not a fair fight. And like she's slicing all the frogs and stuff like that. Frog robots. Not actual frogs. Oh my goodness. The frobos. And then it actually gets like trapped and Sasha can't defeat all of them. And then the giant cannon. I was like, are the townspeople gonna do something? Grime? Well, what's gonna happen? And she's like, "Oh no, Sasha gonna die?" First Marcy, not Sasha. And then we see Grime again. And then Obis actually shoots missiles and boom. And then Grime, you came back. Yeah. Beatrix has fortifications and an army. And but you know what she doesn't have? You, Lieutenant. And she's, oh, Grime, you softy. And she's hugging them. And she's like, okay, we gotta fight them off. They're fighting off as best as they could, but I can't keep up with all of them. Then we have, the townspeople fighting. And I can understand maybe Wally's accordion and, Maddie throwing the magic bombs at them, turning into like a clock and a spoon and stuff like that. But they're actually like punching with their hands and stuff. This is metal, so I don't buy it. Oh, even Mary Tosa like punched one. It was really cool. It was fine, but when I break your hand. But even there's a thing where at the end where I'll get to that in a bit. And even Grime's like, they're fighting like a toad soldier. That's interesting because Grime thinks frogs are weak, and basically they're fighting as best as they could, and then it shoots like big missiles at them, and Sasha's like, they're tracking us. Well, let's track them to the right direction, and they go over some rubble, and then they jump over a robot, and the missiles hit the big robot. The townspeople are defeating the smaller robots, and they defeated them. And Lago grabs one of the thing's eyes and blah! And Sadie's like, you're having way too much fun with that. And I'm like, is that another foreshadowing Sasha losing an eye? Maybe, maybe not. Honestly, I find it kind of weird with all these predictions. I kind of find it kind of weird if Sasha doesn't lose an eye. I don't know. But, and basically, they're all kind of talking like, oh, hey, Sasha, hey, you're saying? Is it, yeah, I'm saying I'm really with you guys, like, for real this time, like, no deceptions and stuff like that. I really want to protect you guys. And he's like, oh, I'm, like, do you guys accept me? And then, like, and then Maddie's like, yeah, you may have been a terrible person, Sasha, but, like, you didn't have to come back for us. Like, you changed. And Ivy's like, yeah, you protected us frogs when you didn't have to. And, oh, you were so cool fighting. And, we even see Ivy and Felicia doing swift kicks to robots, which does come back to the Ivy and Run, their mother-daughter dynamic, but how are you kicking robots? Whatever. And, basically, Sasha's like, oh, you guys can definitely count on me this time. And then Sadie's like, oh, what are we going to do now? She looks at Grime. Grime kind of gives that reassuring look. And Sasha says, we start fighting back. I'm like, oh, yeah. That's going to be super cool. And that's the end of the episode. And it's kind of like a flashback because it's like a couple days ago. It's right after where Anne and the planters got sent to Earth. And they were in the first episode. That was like a couple days, I think. Like 2 days maybe? Yeah, I think that was like the first 2 days. So of the new normal, that's when Turning Point happened, sort of. So that's pretty cool. I give this episode a... Let's see. I give this an 8.5. I thought this was great. I just wished it was... Well, wait, actually, no. Hold on. Wait. I actually would... Even though it was very sweet, Sasha reading the journal, I just wish it was a bit more time to maybe expand that a bit more. Because all that was kind of within like a day or so, and it was kind of like a lot. I was going to say 8.5, 8. It was still great. Just not B plus great. It was a B. Solid B. 8. So overall, first half was a 7.5. Second half, 8. So I obviously like the second half better than the first half, but you know, it wasn't fantastic or anything. Let me see. Seven. Yeah. 7.7. I would say. C plus. Yeah. Yeah, I'll give episode 2 a C plus. 77%. Yeah, so everyone, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, give me a big thumbs up, leave a comment down below. Don't forget to share the video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, leave a comment down below. Don't forget to share the video, and I'll see you guys hopefully later today. Yeah, I think there's still time. See you later today for Amphibia Season 3, Episode 3A, which is called Tie Feud. And the second half is called Adventures in Cat Sitting. And there's a clip for Tie Feud, but not Adventures in Cat Sitting. So, yeah, I think it's a lot of time. Yeah. Okay. I'll see you guys then. Alright. Bye.